It was just after sunrise when the first jogger passed the empty playground at the edge of the neighborhood. To most, it was a routine morning, the sound of birds, the smell of wet grass. But what the jogger saw froze him in his tracks. Beneath the swings, in the shadows where children once played, lay the motionless body of a young man, his face bruised, his clothes torn, and his phone shattered beside him. This wasn't just another crime scene. This was a message. His name was David Turner. 23 years old, a college student studying mechanical engineering. To friends, he was the type of guy who fixed your car for free, who never turned down a late-night video game session, and who still made it home on Sundays to check on his mother. But David's kindness wasn't what made his story haunting. It was how ordinary his life was. He wasn't tied to gangs, didn't live recklessly, and wasn't in any deep trouble, or so everyone thought. Like the victims in our previous episodes, David's story resonates because it reminds us that crime rarely feels distant. It can enter the lives of people who least expect it. The jogger called 911. Within minutes, sirens pierced the morning calm. The swings swayed gently in the wind as officers taped off the playground. Detectives crouched by David's body, noting the injuries, blunt force trauma to the head, defensive wounds on his arms. This was no accident, no random fall. Someone had wanted him silenced, and as they searched the grass, they found something else, an empty wallet. Robbery seemed like the motive at first glance. But detectives knew better. Robbers don't usually linger long enough to leave their victim in such a brutal state. Detective Alvarez, a 15-year veteran, led the case. He'd worked countless murders, but something about this one unsettled him. Maybe it was a setting, a playground, a place meant for safety and innocence. Or maybe it was a look on David's mother's face when she arrived, collapsing at the sight of her son's shoes beneath the tape. Detectives canvassed the area. Surveillance cameras from a nearby gas station showed David walking alone the night before, phone in hand, earbuds in. A shadow followed him at a distance, but the footage was too grainy to identify anyone. At first, suspicion fell on David's roommate, Eli, who admitted they'd argued over money days before. But Eli had an airtight alibi. He'd been working a night shift, confirmed by time logs. Then attention shifted to a group of local teens known for petty theft around the neighborhood. Police picked up 2 of them for questioning, but nothing tied them directly to the scene. For weeks, the case stalled. The community grew restless. People whispered about how detectives could solve cases years old, yet somehow this fresh crime had no answers. It was the same frustration we saw in episodes 1 and 2. Families desperate for closure, detectives wrestling with silence. The break came from something small. A forensic analyst reviewing David's shattered phone noticed partial fingerprints, not belonging to David. The prints matched a man named Marcus Hale, 27, with a record of assaults and robberies. Detectives traced Marcus to a rundown apartment 2 miles away. When they arrived, Marcus denied knowing David at all. But hidden in his closet, they found a hoodie stained with blood, later confirmed to be David's. In the interrogation room, Marcus played the part of the hardened criminal, smirking, deflecting, claiming the evidence was planted. But detectives pressed harder. They revealed that cell tower data placed his phone near the playground at the time of David's murder. The smirk faded. His hands shook. Then finally he broke. Marcus admitted he confronted David for money. He claimed he hadn't meant to kill him, that the fight escalated after David resisted. But detectives saw through his excuses. The blows to David's head were deliberate, calculated, meant to ensure silence. Marcus was charged with murder. The trial drew the entire community. David's family sat front row every day, clutching photos of their son. The prosecution laid out the evidence: fingerprints, blood, surveillance, and Marcus's own confession. The defense tried to paint Marcus as a victim of circumstance, arguing he lashed out in desperation. But the jury didn't buy it. After only 4 hours of deliberation, they returned with a guilty verdict. Marcus Hale was sentenced to life in prison without parole. For David's family, it wasn't justice in the truest sense, because no verdict brings back a loved one, but it was accountability. And that mattered. As the playground reopened weeks later, neighbors left flowers beneath the swings where David had been found. Some avoided the park altogether, haunted by the memory. Others gathered there intentionally, determined to reclaim the space. This case, like the ones we've explored before, isn't just about the brutality of crime. It's about the ripple effect, the grief that spreads through families, the determination of detectives, the resilience of communities. Episode 3 closes with this truth. While justice can be delivered in courtrooms, healing is something communities must fight for together.